I'm Blake McCown. This is Yuval Parker. Welcome to the 6 o'clock news. Recent studies show that whales, while mostly female in matriarchal societies, still have periods. Do sharks attract them? Maybe not. Yuval, next story.
What the fuck? Oh my
Take
god.
two.
Oh my god. Is that true?
I don't know.
Wait, do sea animals have periods?
Probably. I
Really?
don't know.
I wouldn't think so.
Why not?
I thought periods is like a human thing.
Mammals, no.
Well,
Dogs
I
have
guess
periods.
it's
Cats have periods.
Well,
They're
no,
mammals.
I thought they go in heat. That's not a period. They're like just the ovulation is all nice and
When I had my
puffy.
wiener dog, she wasn't spayed,
Uh-huh.
and she would.
yeah. I guess they do
Bleed.
bleed from. I guess that's true. But is
Do whales?
okay? So humans and dogs will bleed, but like
right.
we need to go through each animal
All
in
right,
the
let's do
kingdom.
this.
All right, go ahead.
Do whales have periods? I heard it attracts bears.
Wait, can bears smell periods?
There's like this urban legend about bears being able to.
Yeah,
smell
like I've heard that as
menstruation or
well. So
something.
like, I guess bears just have a heightened sense of smell.
I don't know if that's true. Let's see. I don't like that
You
source.
see, they just like
Okay, so this is
shoot
from
blood
BBC.
out of their
this is
blow
their
blowhole.
blowhole. This is from BBC. Apart from humans and our close relatives, the only animals that menstruate are elephants, shrews, and certain bats.
Okay.
And
So I
then
thought.
the article very elegantly starts off with, I got my first period when I was only 11.
Wow.
I don't know what that has to do with elephants and bats, but
Everything apparently.
yeah.
Once you get your period at 11, then you have to just
Then you have to
explore
look
everything,
up elephants and bats.
just to know that you're not normal.
Boy, that'd be a
Or I
tricky
guess you are
situation for a
normal.
vampire bat, you know?
Ha 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 ha. Wanna bump. Thank you.
I wasn't kidding. It's
There are no such thing as vampire bats.
yes, there are.
Not
There
they don't
absolutely
suck
are.
blood like
They absolutely do.
not human blood.
You got me,
Okay,
but
so
that doesn't mean that
I mean,
vampire
what?
bats
They-
don't exist.
I don't think they. No, I think it's blown out of proportion. The vampire bat stuff.
You would like. So you sure?
They don't like bite into you, and they're like.
Vampire
They don't do
bats.
that. Okay, go ahead.
Food.
Right. Okay, but like all animals eat food. Okay, so like lions are also
Vampire bats are bats whose food source is blood, a dietary trait called hematophagy. Three extant bat species feed solely on blood. The common vampire bat, the hairy-legged vampire bat, and the white-winged vampire bat. Don't
Do
you
they like?
dare-
Do they kill their prey, or do they like?
No,
is
so
it
they'll
like
go
a,
up to like a cow
and they'll
or
just
like
suck on it while
a
it's
goat or something, yeah, and they'll just suck the blood off of it, and then time to move on.
Do they have like other than their teeth? Do they have like
I'm sure
weapons
they, so,
or claws
yeah, I'm
or
sure,
something?
So that's a picture of it. I'm sure they've got. So what I'm sure they'll do is their saliva, I'm sure, is kind of like a mosquito's.
That's
where,
Count Dracula.
It's Nosferatu. Whenever they bite in, I'm sure they have saliva that
Uh-huh.
makes your blood vessels not try to close up, and so it's just free flowing. And I'm
Like,
sure they use their tongue to right.
But they're
I
good
can't
at
believe you've
eating
never
each
heard
other
of
out.
vamp-
No, I know like the vampire bats are a thing, but I always thought like it was just kind of blown out of proportion.
Well, no, that's where the legend comes from.
Sure.
Is
Okay.
Dracula will turn into a bat.
Right.
Because-
And I want to suck your blood.
Right.
Right.
That. So yeah, but vampire bats are for sure real.
Yeah, but like
So a lot of them are in Texas too.
yeah, but like how many of them is it more of like they eat insects and it's like the blood from the insects?
No, it's their food source. It's the
because like
dietary.
a vampire bat's not gonna be out in the wild and find a cow and to
Of course it will.
cows aren't in the wild.
Yeah,
Cattle maybe, but not
still. So they'll find a horse, or they'll find.
horses aren't in the wild.
Are you serious right now?
No.
So you'll have farmers out in Texas, cattle ranchers all over.
Farmers aren't in the wild. They just have the giant barnyards and the out in the fort or the plains.
What? Yeah, so it's all vampire bat is mostly native to America and the Central America and some parts of South
Mhm.
America. So, but yeah,
Do we get guana from vampire bats or just all bats?
I think guana is just bat.
All bad. Yeah,
bat droppings.
Yeah, right. People eat it or something.
Is it guano or guano?
Oh,
I think it's guano.
I think it is guano.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of gualala, which
What's
is
gualala?
It's just a made up term in this song where they're like, you want that gualala? I need that gualala. And I guess it's supposed to like reference money or something.
So here you go. Vampire bats hunt only when it's fully dark. Like fruit-eating bats, and unlike insectivorous and fish-eating bats, they emit only low-energy sound pulses. The common bat feeds primarily on the blood of mammals, occasionally including humans, whereas both the hairy-legged vampire bat and the white-winged vampire bat feed primarily on the blood of birds. So, I'm sure bats, since they're so that they're out there at night, they use their echolocation. They could
habitats
probably
get destroyed, and then they move and invade.
But they could definitely take down a bird.
Huh? Interesting.
So a bat locates a host.
Honestly,
mammal.
I think whenever I was at the there was a museum in Dallas, and
vampire bat museum.
Not a vampire bat museum, but it was one of the museums where it's like they have multi floors, and then you go through, and then you get to the bottom, and it's like the ocean museum and stuff like that. Maybe it is the aquarium, but then it also has like the giant jungle with all the.
That's the aquarium.
Oh, okay, that's the aquarium. Yeah. All right, whatever.
Really I think fun. I haven't been there in a long time. It's fun.
It's a good place. I'd rather go to a different place with animals because once you've been there twice, it's kind of like, all right.
Last time I remember going there was in elementary school, so I don't remember.
Well, okay, so the only I would go again if we do like a deep dive into like all of them, because
I'm down.
I've always like one thing I regret as like a kid and going into the school exhibits and the whatever and the stuff and these are learning experiences. I never was like learning at all. I didn't care.
You didn't have an animal phase where you were like just
no, not really, no. And so going to the zoo or going to the whatever museum or the whatever, it wasn't until I think high school that I started to kind of appreciate things outside of what like I'm familiar with. So because I remember we went to the Dallas Art Museum or whatever, not the modern art but the historical art museum. I don't know.
No, I've been there with my dad. I'm trying to figure out what the name of it was.
I forget, but like I don't know, it was something about the art that like really spoke to me, and I was like, wow, this is just genuinely beautiful stuff, and this is really interesting. And so like, going to the science museum and stuff like that, actually taking your time, and because like I've been to the Pro a few times, and that one's really good because you're able to like, or at least whenever I went, I was able to just kind of stay and read and just sort of like, oh, this is really interesting, and like so the last couple of times I went, I was one time went with my family, and everyone was just kind of like walking through. It's like, oh, this is really pretty. Okay,
as opposed to just sitting there. Yeah, like let's take this in.
Yeah, and so because there's a lot of like interesting tidbits and facts, and because I know specifically because you mentioned the vampire bat. I think the vampire bat was there as well. Shows how much I pay attention. But it was really because each one has like they have like your habitat, and then like your eating habits, and then they have like the location, lifespan, general tidbits and stuff like that. So because it is kind of expensive, not like super expensive, but it is kind of expensive.
How much is it for a day?
I want to say it's like $20 a person.
That's
20 $25 bucks a person.
We can always just take the dart too. Hold on.
Well, no, sure, that's true. Okay, actually, all right. We can go. I'll be 100% down if we take the dart and we get plastered. Like, yes, I'm serious.
What do you mean, like drunk?
Yes,
or shit?
Yes. Just
why?
Because it'd be fun to just go and like
adult $20.95 plus tax.
$20.95. Okay. They see it's like I don't because I mean I'd want it to be fun or something. We'd have to do something that's like
I'm fine, but why? But plastered?
Okay, maybe not like plastered where we can't walk or talk.
I'm down for having a few beers and then jumping on the dart.
We'd be like have a strong buzz going on.
Right.
And then okay, all right. Well, a few beers is like nothing.
It's not, huh?
All right, so let's just starve ourselves then until 3 p.m. and then have a few beers.
Okay, fine. A couple of shots, a few beers, and then we Uber down to the dart station, and then we can take the green line all the way down, and
then because that's like I think it's like $5 or something like that.
Yeah, nothing.
All right, deal done. Hey everyone, welcome back to another One More podcast. I'm here with my co-host Blake, and we're here to talk about some stuff, some interesting things, and it's, I don't know, I'm not trying to like make this super controversial and super like on, relevant and stuff like that, because I think there is something to give about being, because that's why I like Philip DeFranco's, because stuff happens and then you think and process it, and then it's like, okay, now let's talk about it instead of just reacting to things. And so, I was worried that this podcast has kind of been more of like, I don't want to make something, or I don't want to talk about something unless it's relevant, unless it's happening now. So, I kind of found something that Blake and we watched that sort of treads that line of, I think it is very relevant, but also it's not something that, it's been out for a bajillion years. So what we're talking about specifically is a video titled "Don't Be a Sucker." This was made and funded by the United States government, and it was like sometime after World War II. So we somewhere in the late 40s, I think. I'm not sure.
Your late 40s or early 50s,
somewhere around there. So essentially, the entire premise of the info PSA movie documentary thing, it was only 20 minutes long. It's right now free on YouTube. You can just Google "Don't Be a Sucker," and that's like the first video that you'll get. And so it talks about the premise of the rise of Nazis in Germany and kind of the reasoning behind it, and not necessarily the reason behind the person behind Nazi Germany, but the way essentially Nazis were able to rise and come to power. And not saying that America currently is on the brink of falling under a regime of evil people. Not saying that at all. But I think there are a lot, and we'll talk about this. I think there are a lot of parallels that we can draw, kind of a conclusion or kind of a point to what's going on now, that you can kind of say, oh, well, that sort of resembles a little bit. And the fact that we're at a point in time where there's even a slight resemblance kind of worries me, not like to the point where I can't sleep, but I think it's something that we need to talk about and we need to discuss. So, essentially, we'll kind of sum up the video, but I think it's worth a watch. I've seen it a few times now. Blake I introduced it to him, so he's only seen it once, like a loser. And so
I'm a sucker.
Yep, he is a sucker. So essentially, what happens is a man is talking to another man there's a guy where it takes place in America. There's a guy rambling and yelling and screaming about how America is being destroyed and America is being ruined by
quote unquote
all of the group minorities and groups of people and stuff like that. So religious, race, and all that kind of stuff. So the guy was essentially saying that this is a separate person, sorry, not the guy ranting, but they're essentially saying is that, look, what's happening now isn't very much different from what was happening in Germany. And so what happened in Germany was they essentially divided the country and tackled each group. So, you had the Jews, you had the Catholics,
it was literally a divide and conquer.
Exactly.
It really was.
Because, again, unified Germany stood together. Granted, they were in such a very bad economic time, but still unified. Evil people and bad ideas in its small self can't take on things that are unified. And so what happens is essentially you're supposed to break everyone apart, pit everyone against each other, and then go from there. So a couple points that, and again, we kind of just totally super summarized it. So I think
that is the
there's
Spark
a lot
Notes
more
would
to
be
it.
Spark Notes would be ashamed of us for that summary, but it's,
you know what, you're right. You use our stuff for a summary, you'll probably get like a B- on your essay.
B-.
Yeah, you know what, I could fluff some things, so you're getting a B- from the Yuval Parker
depends on
standard.
how much you use it.
Yep.
We're gonna get there.
Well,
thesaurus,
a B actually. Well, no, B is better than
I
B-.
think we're C+ because I can't pronounce thesaurus.
Yeah, and we have too many ums. I hate it when people say not to like get super off topic, but there's this guy at work and he's just constantly will go, yeah, so when we're working on this thing, and And I'm very much aware that I do it, and I'm very much aware, and that's why I'm actually trying to talk a little slower so I can think about it, because I was listening to a podcast with Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan, and Jordan Peterson just speaks so eloquently. He's just like...
I think that's what happens when you've been doing it for years and you're a genius. And
aside from the point. Anyways, questions about Don't Be a Sucker.
Yes.
So one thing that they mentioned a couple times in the beginning of the video was essentially saying, when you have something, there are people who stay up at night trying to think of ways to take that from you.
Right.
And I think that is such a scary sentiment and such a scary thought, but it's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. There are sociopaths, there are,
con artists,
whatever it is, that seriously, that they don't know a way to get it for themselves, so all they know is how to take. And I think that's just... I mean, what do you think about that, Blake?
It's true. I mean, think about how many times we get updates, or you'll get a newsletter or email saying another company has been hacked, or your debit card has been used in a different location, or how theft is on the rise. Whatever. It's been going on for thousands of years, and it's not going to stop. It's just part of human... it sucks, but it's part of human...
Unfortunately, it is
human experience,
because humans are doing it to other humans.
It's part of the human experience to deal with people that don't have the moral capacity to work and do it for themselves.
So with that, though, there are kind of the splits that I'm seeing right now in America, and those types of people that kind of want whatever. I guess it's not. We don't have people staying up in government saying, okay, how am I going to screw over the American public? But I feel like right now there are a lot of people right now. It's more of, I'm going to take what I want, and whatever I view and whatever I need, that's what I want. And so the point I'm trying to get to is, I feel like right now there's a lot of fear mongering going on, and I mentioned it in a couple of videos before, but it's gotten to a point where the negativity, I think, is being more outspoken than kind of the positive and the rational thinking. Because I don't think we're in a crisis, and I don't think we have this, because if there's a crisis right now going on in our southern border, I think we've been in a crisis forever, because you think of
since 1836.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, you see there's deaths in inner cities and up north in our own domestic cities. There's drug overdoses, there's legal prescription overdoses. There's so many things going on right now where the numbers are similar, if not more, that it's... And I'm not trying to paint Trump as this, villain or anything like that, but I think he's very... Because I follow him on Twitter because he's the president, and I figure might as well just hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And there are a lot of tweets that I see where he's creating this divide, where he's creating this split, where... Yes, he's not trying to paint us as, bad guys or good guys or Nazis or the Aryan race or whatever, but I'm always seeing it's them versus me, not and what in the ending of the video was not us. And that's what I'm seeing constantly. And when you go into the comments and you're looking and you're saying, okay, who's saying what, who's trying to make fun of him and who's trying to rationalize it and whatever, you just see a lot of shouting and a lot of screaming and agreements. Do you see that? Granted, we're not very worldly traveled people, but in your experience, do you see any of that influence right now outside of...
I work with it's interesting because I work with the blue collar. A lot of them, they didn't vote for Trump, or they despised Hillary and didn't vote. That was the consensus from everyone that I've worked with so far. And it got to a point where I think for a lot of people, they felt disenfranchised. I think they felt that they tried running out McCain, they tried running out Romney, they tried running out Cruz, and then they looked to this guy, this Rodney Dangerfield character, that was willing to give the finger to the establishment. At least that's what he ran on, was giving the finger to the establishment. And saying, no, I'm not scared of y'all. I'm not going to follow these kind of rules. Now, is that good or bad? Well, right now we're not seeing the good of it. But we did see some good of it. I think you can point out some good things that have come of, and I think part of that, for me at least, I see a kind of a distrust, a larger distrust in the government, which I think is good. I really do think it's good to question everything that goes on in Washington. And I think Trump, he doesn't like it, but everybody that could consider themselves a Democrat is now looking under a microscope at every single thing he does, which is good. You should do that. But again, you're seeing it with the right. A lot of people that support Trump are not doing that. They're making excuses for everything. And I think that's just how this country rolls. I mean, people have done that for Obama. People did that for Bush. People did that for Clinton, all the way back.
It's always on.
That's how it is.
Both sides, every side.
Is it more polarizing now than in a long time? Yeah, it is.
Do you think we are? Do you feel as though we're a divided nation right now?
I think if I've said this a couple of times, person is smart, people are dumb. Okay, so if you were to just sit down with a person and talk them out and say, well, what do you think about this? Do you really think this? Do you really think that? I think a person you can have a rational conversation with most of them. But once you get that mob mentality, it becomes all about emotion instead of rational thinking. And I think Trump played into that really well, kind of to his credit in a weird way. He was able to amass this fan base that was very emotional. They felt like they were getting screwed over by everybody in Washington. And they had this outsider that was going to come in and shake things up. So yeah, we're divided. But it's not good. It's obviously not good. We all want to cooperate. And
well, so then let me bring up one point. In the video, one emphasis was talking about how, with Germany and the Nazi Party on the rise, a lot of truth and a lot of information was either thrown away or banned, or they burned books, they jailed teachers. Obviously, that's not happening. We don't see any blacklisted books, and we're not stuff like that. But
throwing teachers in jail, right? Throwing professors in jail, and doing that.
But one thing though, I'm seeing, and again, this is a very much just connecting, just a parallel idea. We're not saying it's a 1-for-1 comparison, but it's something similar. It's a similar tactic, or I guess it's in the same vein of thought, and it's the popularization of fake news, just the entity of fake news. And so I think this isn't a direct way, but I'm seeing a lot of people that are now immediately saying, okay, these sets of information I'm not going to watch or read or listen to anymore because it's fake news, because my president says, CNN always lies, and that's what I believe. And that the information is still out there, and the quote unquote truth, or whoever at the moment, whoever side is the truth, that's still out there. But you're seeing this man just out of the blue, like he coined the term, he started it, he led it, and now everyone's repeating it, where now it's like, okay, it almost seems like, and tell me if you disagree with this, but it almost seems like when you kind of label outside information as fake news and you say, no, listen to me, isn't that all kind of similar of what they were doing?
Yes, but that all started because of actual misreporting. That started because people were not covering journalists that we are supposed to look to for answers and for all of our information. Were not doing their jobs. They were being overwhelmed with their own emotional support systems, and that that allowed Trump to step in and say, well, yeah, it's all fake. And so it's the media's job now to gain some credibility back.
Sure. And I'm not saying everyone's excused from what they've done in the past, and I understand that the term didn't just come out of nowhere. But I'm seeing it now, a lot of people just, it's being almost like they're waving the flag, and this is how they're identifying. And I just think, to me, that there's something to that, where if you're labeling a source of information as not trustworthy, whether or not it is always trustworthy, or whether or not they lie, or whatever it is, I think that's one step further to, changing the narrative and trying to make it as make the person, the individual, seem as much as in the right as they can.
I think you might be giving Trump a little too much credit. I think he's a dude from New York that just spouts off stuff and doesn't think before he speaks. So he's an egotistical dude that is all about himself. There was a joke on his Comedy Central roast that Jeff Ross said, and it was the same thing, or Melania and Trump are the same because they both scream Trump's name when they finish. Okay. So Trump he's all about himself, and so he's just it'd be. So
you
different.
think I'm just blowing things out?
No,
I'm just
no.
being a scare. No,
I think that. And
because I'm an anxious person, and I'm
I think
worry
Shapiro
wart.
had a really good take on this, because he was on. I watched his interview with Don Lemon on CNN, and and Shapiro was saying, "Look, if you guys would just stop covering him and getting emotional and upset about every single thing he does, all of this would blow over. Like he would be. Then you could really, once some time passed and he really did mess up bad, then you can go in and." You can change some minds. But as soon as you start just attacking him for saying something that he put on Twitter at 2 a.m. because he felt like trolling,
right?
You are making it more serious. You're making it less serious when he actually does something bad, where we should all be like, yo, what? You're creating this atmosphere kind of like Trump is, of us versus them. By trying to make people hate him as much as possible.
And that's why I've been trying to avoid directly saying Trump, because it is on both sides. I think where we have kind of exploded to a point where it's very much emotion may not be the reasoning behind it, but it's driving it. And and I don't know. And I don't really want to super drag on about the how this whole government is effed up and whatever.
That'd be a 4-hour-long podcast.
Yeah, sure. And we can call in people and they can give us a hot take. Yeah. But I just think then, if anything, then I think the best thing we can do is just to be aware and just have the eyes open and not, it's very important that, because that's another thing that the people of Germany succumbed to, was they just kind of, you put your heads down and you just say someone else is taking care of it, and someone else is not my problem. Exactly, it's not my problem until I get mentioned, or it's not my problem until I get involved. And I think we should change that mentality, or at least try to take steps to change that mentality, where we're all brothers here. We're all brothers and sisters in this country, and we can do a lot to be proactive so that it doesn't get to the point. Because what was that quote? I'm totally gonna butcher it, but it was like, when they went for the Jews, I didn't say anything. When they went for the Catholics, I didn't say anything. When they went for the disabled, I didn't say anything. And they went for me, there was nobody to say anything. And so it's just, I'm worried, and that's just because it's me and I'm overly critical of everything. I'm just worried we're going to get to a point where, we don't see each other as humans. And I genuinely feel like we're getting to that point where I just see you as a Republican and you see me as a Democrat or whatever. I see you as right, you see me as left, vice versa. And you can't have productive change if that's the case. No. Because one thing, I was listening again on the Jordan Peterson Joe Rogan podcast,
They should which one it was?
It was the one in November of last year.
What was he wearing?
Oh, I had just listened on audio,
okay.
so
I go based off of his suits.
Oh,
what
really?
Suits
yeah.
Jordan Peterson is wearing.
It was okay. Actually,
was it a navy blue one with like a red tie and a white shirt?
I don't know. I listened. I just on my phone. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
He was talking about how he goes. Just real quick on his suits. He was talking about how he goes in his lecture circuit. Apparently, he has like a small contest with all the guys to see who can outclass his suit and stuff like that. So
he's eccentric.
Oh, very much so. But back to my main point about what Jordan Peterson says, because welcome to the We Love Jordan Peterson podcast. He was essentially saying that realistically, when you don't. I forget exactly what he says, and I'm going to butcher it, but essentially the mentality of putting your head down, and things will happen out of your control when you keep your head down and you keep your eyes closed, and you just kind of accept it, and you just say, all right, this is the reality that I live in, and I'm not going to do anything about it because I can't, or I don't think it's in my place, or I don't think I should, or whatever it is. And so we need to try and stray away from that to lend your brother a cup of sugar.
So who should we be standing up for right now?
I mean, I don't have any specific group right now, but I think everyone. I think everyone should be given a fair chance, and I think all information sources should be. I mean, and it's hard, it's difficult, because when we're in the information age and there's the internet right in our pocket, it's like there's just so much stuff to consume. I don't know. I get when I see it, I can call it out. Nothing currently. I mean, stuff going on in California right now. Teachers aren't getting paid, in their classes are like getting overfilled, and that's not being talked about really. Mm-hmm. That's it's a big let's go to the South conversation. I don't know. I mean,
stay there.
Yeah, we'll stay where
we're good. We don't need any more Californians here in Texas.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
good.
That's true.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a very great watch. I think
yes.
Outside of this whole situation, there was actually, and I don't know if you noticed any kind of the nuances in the video itself, but like how people talked and how people like acted and stuff in the videos. I was not like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, they're kind of just normal. I thought they're not talking like this. See,
the like on the soapbox was.
Well, okay, all right, kind of, but like,
and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this too,
yeah,
and here's what we're gonna do.
But no, it's a very good video. I think one for the catalog to reference or think about.
It basically touches on the first 5 minutes of that video will touch on pretty much just what the United States stands for in terms of. Everyone treats equally your right to speak, your right to freedom of religion, to think what you want, and to do what you want, and nothing about your body matters. Your face, skin color, eye color, whatever. None of that matters. And I think today we've part of our because I like to think that most of us are in that 85% where we can just talk to each other. And then you have the 7.5 over here and the 7.5 over there, the nutcases, the lunatics.
Yes.
But as long as that 85% still maintains focus and is rational with their thinking, I really do think we're going to be fine. It's going to piggyback bounce and forth and, or it's going to, seesaw back and forth. But I think we're going to be fine. And I know you're anxious, but...
what are you going to do about my anxiety, Blake? Help me solve this. Fix it for me. Do everything for me.
Let's get a pot of coffee.
Okay.
And let's
How's
get
coffee?
some...
Coffee makes me like go crazy at work. I pee a lot after I go drink coffee.
Yeah, it's a diuretic, dude.
Well,
that's what it does.
Still, it's just I don't know how coffee would calm me down then.
I don't know. Just in all the cop movies, somebody gives somebody a cigarette and a cup of coffee. You need to calm down, Johnson.
Have a
rough day.
Have a cigarette, snort some coke, and here's a cup of coffee.
The perp's gone.
I can. Okay. But yeah. So now we're gonna move on to our next segment. We're gonna play a couple rounds of Would You Rather.
Yes, we are.
And I have some fun Would You Rathers that I stole from the internet. And
you didn't make up your own?
I couldn't really think of it. And okay, so
fine.
a lot of fun memes and fun pictures and videos and content and conversation topics all come from Reddit. So I figured
Let's do it.
So all right.
You want to just go back and forth then?
Sure, yeah.
All right, bring it.
And let's actually kind of expand and not just yes or no. Like, tell me why. Give me your deep feelings and stuff for your reasoning. Would you rather attempt to tickle an unarmed police officer on patrol, or walk into a bank wearing a classic stripy robber outfit, complete with eye mask and a $sign swag bag?
Give me the swag bag.
Really?
Yeah. I can just
I feel like you'd probably get beat and thrown out of the bank.
No, I maybe.
Uh-huh.
But one, I'm not going to my bank.
Okay,
I'm not going to my bank. And two, I'm going to a Halloween party, or I'm going to a costume party.
It's Blake, it's the middle of July. What are you doing?
I'd much rather do that than assault a police officer.
That
is how it would turn up in court.
So? Probably.
It absolutely would. Unless I get a really cool cop that's like, get the hell out of here, dude. Which right now, no, that's not happening.
True. That's true.
So yeah, I'm going into a bank that's not mine or any of the branches that I bank with.
That's fair.
And that's how I'm rolling. How about you?
You'd
want to tickle a police dude. That's ballsy, dude.
If we just, I don't know. You go and it's a quick walk by. So you're walking down the street and I'm no. You're walking down this way, and after I pass you, I quickly go to your back, and then run. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
No.
If you make the coochie coochie coo sound, they're gonna know you're just tickling them.
No.
And yeah.
These guys have seen. Yeah, I do. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Not at all. I don't know. I feel like I would just be more awkward and feel weird about going into a bank because, like, I'm trying to rob them. Someone's gonna think I'm gonna rob them. I'm gonna get like a taser. Either way, I guess.
I would sit down and create like an account just so that they know that I promise I'm not trying to steal. I'm giving you guys money. I promise.
Pull out your money from the bag. This is from a different bank,
right?
All right, Blake, what you got?
Okay, so think about this like in terms of your daily life and your world.
Okay, daily life.
I know you love music, and I know you love movies and TV.
Okay. Yeah, I like things.
Would you rather?
Okay.
The only television/movie, anytime a screen is on, besides your phone and your computer for work, the only thing that you can watch is The Room, which we all know that movie.
Sure, yes.
Or every single time music is playing, the only thing you hear is the song "We Built This City" by Starship. So let's think about this. So
can I still listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so like if music,
you're in a supermarket and I hear a John Mayer song, all you hear is "We built this city."
Right.
That's
any future concerts I go to, they're mouthing words, and I'm hearing "We built this city."
You're in the car with your girl or whatever, and it's like, can you listen to music?
So hold on, wait.
I know what we're listening to.
So is it just me that hears it, or like
no? It's just you.
Okay, so the girlfriend will hear the real song, and I'll just go insane with hearing "We Built This City." Oh my god. I think I have to go with that one. Giving up and only being able to see The Room is just, there are too many good things to watch.
You'd give up music, you'd give up Muse, you'd give up the Beatles, you'd give up Green Day, you'd give up Watsky.
Yeah, because I don't want to give up The Office, I don't want to give up Chuck, I don't want to give up King of the Hill, I don't want to give up South Park. Because I find more value and entertainment in watching things. Yes, I'll be super bummed out. But probably in like 5 years, I'll just go insane and just scream it whenever I hear it. And then it'll be more entertaining for me.
It'd just be so funny. Like, so you would be like writing dissertations on The Room. Like, have you ever thought about like, really, it's really just a metaphor for like the socioeconomic problem going on in Central America. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh my gosh.
No, I don't know. I plus I feel like I could avoid that, and so I'll never, because if I know, because in that instance I just would never listen to music again, because then really you're boiling it down.
So depressing.
Do not watch anything or not listen to anything.
Right.
And I would rather watch stuff. So
really, okay,
yeah, that's just me. What about you? I'm assuming.
Oh, I will get rid of TV in a heartbeat so that I don't have to listen to that song.
I feel. Would you rather have spoons for hands or fork for hands?
Spoons.
Why? Forks, you can like
Forks-
pick up
fork-
stuff.
Yeah, but
and-
forks would be too sharp. I'd hurt myself. I'd hurt somebody else.
No, you wouldn't be able to hurt yourself. Like this is like, I mean,
I'd trip
I don't
and
know,
fall.
You can scratch yourself.
No,
and
give
I
me
don't-
spoons.
Spoons.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
I'd have
very-
to eat a diet of pretty much mostly like soup stuff. But
All right, then follow-up question.
okay.
Would you rather have a chihuahua or a cat as your guide animal if you were blind? I would do a chihuahua.
I'd have to do a chihuahua. Cats would suck.
Cat
Cats would do nothing. They would
You'd be
be
walking
so
on the street
worthless.
and you'd feel your the cat tug and you're like, oh, are we stopping? And the cat's just laying on the ground all day.
You're like, God, that's a long traffic light. What the heck is going on?
Something broken?
Must be a parade.
Yeah, right.
All right. Would you rather?
Speaking of
Bring it on.
parade, there was a guy and he's a YouTuber and he's like this dude who I like does makeup tutorials or something. And so he went to a opening for this, I guess it's a beauty salon. I forget what it was, but he did an opening and he was there. And so apparently over 8,000 people showed up, and this was in the UK, and it caused like in the town that it was in, it caused like a 4.5 hour traffic jam for everyone.
Ooh,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like people were just leaving their cars because it was just they'd
It's not worth
walk.
it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No thanks. Would you rather lose 15 years off your life or lose 15 inches from your height?
How long do you think I'd live
So let's say
otherwise?
you live to be 90. That's pretty above average. So you
Ooh.
die at 75.
Ooh.
Or how tall are you now?
I don't know,
5'9",
5'8",
5'10"?
5'9".
Okay.
5'9"'s pushing it, I
So
think,
you'd be
unfortunately.
4'7", 4'8".
I mean, that's not bad.
Dude.
That's not horrible. Would my
Dude.
weight and stuff scale down
No.
as well?
No, you just lose 15
Oh my
inches.
gosh. I guess my life then. I don't know.
Really?
I was hoping you'd say like, oh, Yuval, because of modern medicine, you'd probably live to your 120. So like, I'd live to 105. That's fine. But if you're saying I'm gonna die at 90,
No,
and
that's
I'm gonna
above
die at-
average.
What are you talking about?
Of course that's above average.
Blake,
For
by the time
US.
by the time we become adults and by the time we get to that age, I have no problem believing that we're gonna live to at least 120.
I'm gonna need some evidence to support that.
I don't know. I'll find it. There's-
America's getting fatter. We're not getting skinnier. Organic food is not getting cheaper.
But you know what is
Healthcare is not getting cheaper.
But whether or not the price of healthcare, the medicine itself is getting better and it's able to extend our lives. And so by the time we get, to 70, that'll be like the new 50 or whatever. I don't know, man. People in Japan are living like a bajillion years.
yeah,
So
a lot of it has to do with genetics.
I don't think so. I think it's just the
gosh, dude. Of
Well,
course it
okay,
does.
yes, partially it is genetics, but I think it's also the quality of life. And a lot of families in Japan, it's very common to see grandparents and stuff there, so they're not living in some retirement home eating crap food. So, you have that going for them, and so I think it's just a lifestyle as well that extends.
Yeah,
the life.
lifestyle plus genetics. Just like some people are prone to heart disease. Like
Sure.
that's why doctors ask, do any of your family members have a
Heart conditions or something?
Yeah, a heart condition or a heart event.
It's they ask you what? Cancer, heart problems, or anything else? Do they ask anything else?
I don't know. My doctor always asks if diabetes because that runs in my family. So,
Well,
always
if they
one
have
of those.
diabetes, I guess they don't run at all. I'm sorry. That's really bad. I stole that joke. That's not mine. I'm not that horrible to think of that. All right.
I love you, Grandpa.
Would you rather have an undo redo button or a copy paste button? You can only undo redo things that have happened in your life, no time travel, and you can only copy paste digital things, such as your balance on your PayPal.
Wait, so like my bank account, I
Copy paste.
would do that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Not even an undo redo though.
I was originally going to say that until you put money involved.
Put money.
So like, yeah, there are some things in my life that I would love to go back and redo.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I'm not one of those people like, oh, made me a better person. How great would I be if I got to go back and undo those mistakes?
Oh, there have been so many times where I'm just like, okay, if I just like think really hard. I can go back in time, go back to middle school, live my right, take the good tests and be a good student and be popular and be cool, because I would be a 23-year-old in a 10-year-old body, and all the decisions there. Oh, there's so many things I would have fixed, and I probably could have been like the president by now.
You know what I do to motivate myself sometimes when I'm being lazy or I'm about to do something stupid?
Yeah.
I look at like 35-year-old Blake in the future with like a wife and kids and like who has his shit together, and I have that Blake say, "What are you doing? What are you about to do? Are you serious? You're gonna sleep in for another 10 minutes? You can't wait 10 minutes?"
Well, okay,
That's
hold
how
on.
I have 35-year-old Blake saying, "No, dude, come on."
But you see, I don't think 35-year-old Blake would remember that. I think it's the, are you serious? You're gonna dye your hair? Are you that, like those kind of decisions?
No.
I think the pants that you wear for school, and I don't know. I think I saw this in a girls' lovey. It doesn't matter what you wore to school that day. It's the knowledge that you learned. So that's what I would focus on.
No, I like the 35-year-old Blake, or however old or like Grandpa Blake.
Oh, I know future Yuval hates me. So
right,
yeah.
Like my older self must be looking back at me right now in some parallel time dimension, going, "What is he doing? Cut your hair. Get up for work. Stop eating that crap.
Oh,
Come
keep
on,
your hair
dude."
long.
I like my hair long.
It's good. I wrote a quick one before you do yours. Would you rather eat nothing but insects for a month, or have Jar Jar Binks be your roommate for a year?
Insects for a month, no
Same.
doubt.
Yeah.
I could have crickets or something high in protein. You know, I'd do that.
I would just avoid Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my gosh. I've
just every morning, and he like cooks you pancakes every morning, and you have to sit
he
through
messed it up.
Yeah,
He would
exactly.
mess it up.
And you
fly back.
and you always have to just be like, "It's okay. It's not your
No,
fault,
you can't
Jar
get
Jar."
mad at him.
You cannot.
He's just an idiot. But you can't get mad at him. He just doesn't know. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
Give me the insect
Insects,
diet,
yeah.
dude, no doubt. All right. This one I had a really lengthy discussion with my dad over when I was thinking it over. Would you rather be fluent in every language on earth, or be a master at every single instrument that has ever been
Does that also include future instruments that get invented or whatever?
Mm-hmm. And that also includes languages.
New languages. I feel like I would do instruments, just for the fact that music extends language and everybody can understand music.
Right,
and so,
but if you spoke every language, then...
Yeah, but it's like, just to be cheesy and say, to tie it back, it's languages are different. And it's a divide. And so if I want to serenade a French lady and a German lady, I can't sing a song in French German. But if I just play a freaking
isn't music also different across cultures and countries too?
I think there are staples.
One thing that is romantic to one person,
right,
may be completely different over here. I think
if you play romance music, I think that transcends everything. If you got a rose in your mouth and you're like doodle-doo,
you've clearly never listened to K-pop then.
You know what? You're right. I don't really listen to K-pop, so I think it's a cool party trick too.
Oh my goch!
So if you be like, "Hey, give me those cups and a pot and pan
give
over
me
here,"
some spoons.
Yeah, yeah, no. No one's gonna be impressed that I can speak French to you. What? Okay, great. You go back to France.
My dad and I were completely opposite. My dad would be like, "Oh, I would speak every single language." That would be awesome.
I very much see the benefit to it, and I do recognize that speaking every language, because then honestly, if I could speak every language, I would. By the time I'm 30, I would have visited the world. Yeah, I think, and
you probably have an amazing job somewhere because you can be able to.
Oh yeah, that's also. But I mean, I could also be a rock star and tour the world if I know every single instrument.
You could.
I could be a one man show. Just be like, look, I'm gonna play like with my feet.
You could be Ed Sheeran with the loop pedal thing.
So would the playing instruments masterfully? Does that mean like I can also play with my feet and play like one handed guitar and like a one handed bass?
You're not like the one man band
over here.
Yeah, you're not like the one man band from Mary Poppins, Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have the accordion with the drums on your back or whatever. But you can also just overdub. So if you ever wanted to write your own music and create, but you're a master at every single instrument, so music theory, music composition, you could be able to. You could be able to construct a song and a melody, no problem.
I think that would be more fun. Plus, it's like, I mean, we were just talking about how music's great. Apparently, I don't love it as much as you because I'd rather listen to "We Built the City" the entire time. But I know I still think that'd be fun.
So. Oh yeah, it'd be that one. It was pretty much immediately. My dad was like languages, and I'm like,
really,
no,
really,
yeah. He never played an instrument. Or maybe he played drums in high school or something like that. But he just he listens to music because he passively enjoys it. If Zeppelin or Floyd or the Who is on, then yeah, he'll listen to it or whatever. But
that's fair. I got a few more.
Bring it
would you rather have the superpower of invisibility or be able to sober up instantly, no matter what state you're in?
Invisibility.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, sobering up would be nice because I get to just party all the time, but that would also wane on my life too.
That's true. That's fair.
Part of the reason why
you've convinced me I'll do invisibility.
Part of the reason we don't drink all the time is because the consequences of drinking, and so if we have to get up for work in the morning, that keeps us making good decisions.
Would you rather be the best version of yourself or the happiest version of yourself?
Well, don't they go hand in hand?
I don't think necessarily. I think the way I interpreted it was being the best version of yourself is the slimmest, the most in fit, the most mentally stable, the smartest you could be at your potential. Just like if Blake was perfect, not necessarily you're like
for my standards, perfect.
Well,
for my standards.
Sure, yeah, and so
constructing a robot Blake, and that will become me.
And so that's the best version. Exactly,
stuff.
And so. That doesn't necessarily mean you have like the best perfect job or whatever. You're just in your state now, the best of yourself or the happiest of yourself.
I do that because I really do think that if I were to, because I'm going for the best that I can be now. So I would do that because I know that I will be happy I will be happy doing that. So if I'm constructing Blake and he can play guitar like Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's one of his dreams. Then I know that will make Blake a super happy individual.
That's fair. I kind of want to just, because I think being the best, yes, would be great, but if I could just be happy and know that like whatever I'm doing, if I'm just the happiest, I don't know. I guess I kind of picked the cop out answer. Because I just don't know if being the best would, and not to get like super detailed, but like. For me, I always just expect more of myself, and it's like, okay, you're here, all right, now what? Oh, you're here, okay, now what? And so it's like, if I'm the best, then it's like, okay, now what? Yeah, and I don't know. And so if I know that I'm happy no matter what I'm doing, if I can work a menial job and just do this, and I know that genuinely I'm happy for the rest of my life, I'm good for that.
There is one guy, I got to find the video on it, but he has a really interesting concept on happiness. He maintains that happiness is a conscious choice. You should consciously try to be happy. When things aren't going your way or you feel depressed or work sucks, your attitude, you need to choose to be happy. You need to choose to smile because it actually is proven that it makes you happier if you just smile.
Yeah, no, it definitely is a mentality state. But I don't know. It's hard sometimes. There's just life when life gets you down, man. But and nothing's going right. But you got one for me, or I got one more. If you
bring it on, one more.
All right. And this is the kid thing's get a little meaty and a little ethical here. Would you rather punish them or not punish them? Imagine a scenario. There are 101 people in a room. 100 of them are serious criminals, but one of them is completely innocent. Now you're given only two options. Either punish, life sentence for all of them, or none of them. See, it's the opposite now. It's more criminals and one innocent man versus a few criminals and a bunch of innocent men. It's extreme.
Yeah, I'd have to let him go, just out of principle.
Really? Just out of principle. The sheer fact that you know that
there is one innocent man, yeah, I'd have to let him go.
Yeah,
just out of principle. I mean, it's the railroad cart thing, like you have one group, you have 15 people tied to a railroad track, and you have one person tied to a railroad track, and you control which way the track goes, or which way the train goes.
You killed 15 of them.
No, no,
no, yeah.
But no, I wouldn't want to.
Well, I think in that instance also it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think also with that one isn't it the situation where it's like it's the railroad is going to hit 15 people and you have to pull the lever to kill that one person. So I think a part of it is that the act of
it will kill these 15 people, or
if you intervene, if you purposefully take fault and take action, then you're still killing someone, but you're saving the majority. Right. So, I don't know. I mean, I in theory, I think I would. Maybe what if these were like the worst of the worst? What if there was?
So I had a case file on
100
of them.
100 Hitlers, and you had video proof and evidence.
This is what I call the Hitler hyperbole. It's
100 Hitlers.
It's used in the death penalty. It's used with Trump nowadays.
Sure.
It's the like whenever I'm debating the death penalty, it's
you'd want to kill.
Would you kill Hitler? It's like. Of course. Stop bringing him up. That's an outlier. Let's be real.
No, I feel. But no, I agree. And in theory, because plus it's like in this instance, I don't know how long they're going to go to jail, so I don't want to put the innocent man.
No, it's life sentence. Right?
Oh, I said life sentence. Yeah, I'm just an idiot. So
I got.
I'll go to jail. Yeah, go for it.
So you're standing on the shore of a lake, and you see your pet. So that cat.
Sure.
And you see a stranger. Never met this person.
Okay, yes.
Both of them are drowning. Who do you save?
Are you specifically picking a pet, or like what if this was like my stepbrother or somebody?
No, it's your cat.
It's my pet. I'd probably save the person, as much as it would pain me to get another cat.
You say that with such disdain.
Sad. And thank you, Blake, for making the world realize I'm a shitty person, because but it's like, I don't know, man, it's a love object, and the person's gonna thank me and he's gonna go about his merry way, and that's it. But like with the cat, I'm losing something in my life. It's like, would you rather me break your leg or break your most cherished guitar? Like well, sure. Okay, maybe that was a bad example, but I don't know. Fine, I'll save the person. I'm assuming you'd save the person in a heartbeat?
And I wouldn't even think about it.
Even if it was your puppy?
I wouldn't think twice.
All of your puppies?
Wouldn't think twice.
Your puppies and your family?
I only have one dog, so...
Well, all of the family dogs and your family and friends, and then that one stranger.
Sorry, Dad. I got to.
I got to stick to my guns. I already said it. It's too late. All right. Do you have any more?
That was it.
All right, cool. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Any of the would you rathers, tell us what you would do. Yes. We had a lot of across the spectrum questions, so give us some info and feedback on if you've watched the Don't Be a Sucker video.
Yes.
That is let's keep this conversation rolling. As much as I say let's conversate, not everyone's conversating, because I get like a few comments, which is great, and I love all the people who are commenting, like the 3 people that commented on my last or second to last video. Thank you. I forget who exactly. I don't want to call out anyone who didn't deserve a call out, but anyways, thank you so much again, and guys, have a fantastic day, night, or whenever you're listening to this. Peace out. This is the end song. It is now over.